there's really two chapters for relief for consumers under the Bankruptcy Code. There's Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. Chapter 7 is known as a liquidation, and Chapter 13 is known as a reorganization. In a Chapter 7, most people are in what's called no-asset Chapter 7 bankruptcies, where they wipe out all of their debt, they don't pay anybody anything, and they get their discharge, and when they're freed from the case, which takes about 4 to 6 months, they're debt-free. There are certain debts that aren't discharged, like taxes, student loans, child support, alimony, and a couple of others. But for the most part, they just wipe out their debt completely. Chapter 13 is where a consumer will repay a portion of the debt over a 3 to 5 year period. And to the extent that they successfully complete the repayment, at the end of the 3 to 5 year period, they'll then receive their discharge. They'll be free of the debt. They will no longer owe any of the remaining debt. Now, there are certain things that you can do in a Chapter 13 that you really can't do in a Chapter 7. Perhaps the most frequently used one is for homeowners who are behind on their mortgage. In a Chapter 13, if you're behind on your mortgage, the mortgage company must treat you as being current on the mortgage from and after the filing if you do two things. One, you make the regular monthly mortgage payment from and after the date of filing. So if you file on May 5th, your June 1st payment is due. You've got to make the payment. And two, you have up to 5 years to make up the arrearage, the amount that you're behind on the mortgage at the time of the filing, by making payments to the trustee. And as long as you do those two things, the mortgage company cannot foreclose. They must treat you as being current. And in a case like that, you probably end up getting rid of most, if not all, of your other debt, your unsecured debt, credit cards, personal loans, things like that. Another thing that's available for Chapter 13 consumers is it's called lien stripping. It's a pretty exciting thing. I don't get to do it too often, but when I do, it's really a great relief to consumers. And that is, you can strip off a second mortgage if you owe more money on the first mortgage than the value of the property. That then makes the second mortgage wholly undersecured, and it can be stripped off. In Hawaii, there's lots of people with two mortgages, and there's also lots of people who owe more on their first mortgage than the value of the property. And it's often a welcome surprise to them that they can strip off that second mortgage. So it's really something that you want to look into, and it's something that you cannot do in a Chapter 7.